welcome back to the channel. On my Substack, Vinay Prasad's Observations and Thoughts, by the way, you should subscribe to there because there's a lot more than what's on this channel. On my Substack, I have a very interesting article. It's about what happened at the FDA when Marian Gruber and Phil Krause were Director and Deputy Director of Vaccine Products, and the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine was moving from emergency use authorization to full FDA approval in 2021. The title of my article is, quote, Woodcock and Marks at FDA forced Krause out from vaccine products to ram through full FDA approval to justify the Biden vaccine mandates. This is a very problematic story. But Phil Krause, who was the deputy director of the FDA Vaccine Products Division, in testimony in front of Congress, said the following. I'll read you the section verbatim. This is from his testimony. Sometime between early July and July 16th, something had happened to completely change the opinion of Dr. Marks and Woodcock, those are his bosses at FDA, regarding the urgency of completing the Biological Licensing Agreement review, the BLA review. That's the full approval. And it was so important to them that they did not trust the experts who led the Office of Vaccines to do it, even with their help. They didn't trust him. In a 7/19/2021 meeting, memorialized in a 7/21/21 memo by Gruber, Woodcock, and Marks, it relieved Dr. Gruber and me of the responsibility of managing the ongoing BLA and placed Dr. Marks in charge. In this meeting, Dr. Woodcock and Marks expressed concern about the rising number of COVID cases in the U.S. and globally caused by the Delta variant and stated their opinion that absent a license, states cannot require mandatory vaccination and that people hesitant to get an EUA-authorized vaccine would be more inclined to get immunized if the product had what were licensed, aka full approval. While Dr. Gruber was out of town for part of the review period, I continued to contribute to the review effort, and even as Dr. Marks was leading it, Dr. Marks did not provide a revised internal ADD to the staff and stated the goal was to complete the review as rapidly as possible. The BLA was licensed on August 23rd, 2021. As predicted by Woodcock and Marks, vaccine mandates followed immediately afterwards and were announced the same day for DoD, Department of Defense, and New York State. If public confidence in a licensed first authorized vaccine was the major concern, FDA would have convened an advisory committee meeting to help provide that assurance to the public. Whew! This is so damning. If the New York Times had any decent reporters, they would be reporting this on the front page. What is he saying? He's saying that the White House wanted this vaccine to get full approval so they could mandate it, which is an unethical mandate, a vaccine that they knew at the time could not halt transmission. They mandated it to people who had already had COVID-19 and young people, throwing people out of work. They wanted to mandate it, which was an unethical medical decision. And to do so, they demoted him in FDA off the project so he couldn't put up roadblocks. They got Peter Marks, their favorite puppet at FDA, to ram this through. This is an abuse of power so bad. It's a political pressure on a regulatory agency. If Trump did this, there'd be documentaries on this, there'd be a magazine on this, there'd be like a whole billboard, Trump forced FDA to force you to get a jab. It would be like, they would demonize, but because Biden did it, they get a total pass. Absolutely unacceptable conduct here. Speaks so poorly to Peter Marks. This is the same Peter Marks, by the way, who approved the Sarepta gene product despite a negative phase 3 study and a negative review from his own FDA staff. The same Peter Marks who rams through booster after booster after booster without any randomized data at any age. The same Peter Marks who rams through boosters for 6-month-old babies when every other country in Europe is saying 65 and up. This Peter Marks is a renegade. He's just, boom, he got the rubber stamp. He's getting carpal tunnel from rubber stamping so hard. This testimony is so damning. Gruber and Krause did not resign during the Trump administration. They did not resign when Trump was in office, even though Trump had every incentive to put his elbow on them to approve the initial vaccine so that he could get re-election. They didn't resign because he didn't do that. But the Biden administration put so much pressure on them in this example and other examples, including the booster that they had testified and wrote about in op-eds, that they felt the need to resign. That is an abuse of political power over a regulatory agency. The Biden administration did that, and they got the decision 100% wrong. Ashish Jha himself, the White House COVID czar under the Biden administration, was on Chris Cuomo the last couple of weeks, and he said they went too far with the mandates, and it was a mistake, a partial mistake. Read my Substack for more on him, but he at least admits a partial mistake. So bad. I think if you were forced out of your job or forced to get the vaccine because they rammed through a full FDA approval when Phil Krause and Marian Gruber were going to more properly vet that, I think you should be outraged. I think you should be able to litigate your employer, gain your past wages back, and I think that the federal government cannot have mandate decisions being made by a handful of people who lack the competence, the understanding, and the nuance to make these decisions. The Biden administration repeatedly refused to engage with thoughtful critics of the program, of all their decision making, and they made so many pandemic blunders. We start to see yet another with a vaccine mandate. Outrageous conduct. If, again, any journalist were doing an honest job, this would be on the front page, and I didn't see it anywhere. That's such a disservice. So if you want to support any sort of independent thinking in this world, you gotta go to Substack, subscribe to Vinay Prasad's Observations and Thoughts. I think other great Substacks to look at are Sensible Medicine, where I'm a co-editor, co-writer on. I think there are many other independent voices doing really good work, and you should look to them and not look to the New York Times, because they are not. All right. You like this video, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment, leave a message below. I'll be back with more videos, and I think that's all for this recording session. So next time, I'll be wearing a different shirt. All my videos, I'm wearing the same shirts because I recorded them all in one take, 51 minutes. It's probably going to come out a little bit shorter than that because I was twirling my thumbs in between takes. All right. I got the pop filter on the microphone. People complain about that. I got the pop filter on. So if you got more complaints about audio quality, video quality, let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, leave a message below. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Substack. That's the most important place, because I think Twitter is still playing games with the algorithm. I don't think they're really listening to Elon. Instagram, come on. It's a Zuckerberg product. They're playing all the games in the world. LinkedIn, it's a Microsoft product, all the games. Substack is the only thing I know that's really not censored in any way, shape, or form. YouTube, who knows what they're going to do someday. You know, they're hard to predict. All right. Until next time.